It is the merry month of June. I just love June. June is all about celebrations. My neighbors are just having a graduation one, high school, college. I graduated from high school and college, both in June. It's all about weddings, June brides. I'm a June bride. Greg and I, the shipping department, were married at the end of June, quite a lot of years ago. I'll tell you about it sometime, a lot of years ago. I also think it's the time when people go on vacation. It's summer vacation. You kick off the summer fun with your vacation. And it's, for me, a time of beginnings. A lot of things start to end and then new things begin in June. It's kind of a rollover of items, which I don't know why. It just has always been like that. So welcome to my Fireside Chat. I'm Pat Sloan. This is my YouTube channel, and you are also watching it at my Facebook group or my Facebook page, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. You can find either by going to that on Facebook. I'm so excited that you're here. My Fireside Chat is a weekly chit chat about what I've been doing, what we've been working on. I answer questions. I show you little tips. It's just a time to hang out and have some fun. So this is always really a really nice way to either end the week on Sunday evenings or kick off the week on Monday evenings, depending on which night I do this. If you would do me a favor and look down if you're on YouTube and click to subscribe. And if you're watching this on Facebook, come over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell and you'll get a notification when new shows go up. So we had Main Street kickoff, yay! My free block Wednesday. I'm so excited. You have done gorgeous, gorgeous blocks. I am just loving it. So here are the blocks. I am using two different fabric lines, and I'm making two quilts, not just one. This is the 5 and dime. This is the first quilt I'm making of the 5 and dime. They're both the same blocks, you know. This is the second quilt I'm making with the 5 and dime. So let me tell you, this fabric is the Country Store. I think it's called Country Store. I think I keep saying it wrong, but it's Country Store. And the fat quarters of this have sold out. You guys bought them all. You really liked it. So you can still buy fabric yardage. If you go with a friend on half-yard bundle, you know, half-yard pieces and split it in half, or just get several of the pieces and add from your stash. And I showed you last week on the Fireside Chat how to do that, how to add it from your stash. Also, though, people ask me, could I show them some other options? So I'll do that in a minute. I'll show you some other fabric options that are out there that I really think are gorgeous and I could see working in this. And then we have Cheeky. That is the second fabric line that I'm using, and I just love this fabric line. There is lots of it, so if you are looking for a fresh, springy fabric line, look, that's the greens. Then we also have these gorgeous pinky reds. I love that plaid. Look at that. It also has actual yellow fabric. Yes. Sometimes I say stuff I don't even know what I'm saying. There's dots, and the pink colorway, pink, and then blue. There we go. So light blue. I just think this is so fresh and springy. I cannot wait to make the next block. Cannot wait. So let me tell you about the next block too for Main Street. No. First. Let me just get it in all order. First, let me tell you, Main Street, each time I am working from a bundle of fat quarters and a couple other larger pieces of fabric that I give you in the page on the project page, and I make the blocks each week. I'm not really designing them that far in ahead, so I don't know what I'll make, what the fabric, where it'll be located in the block next week. I don't know yet. I'm just excited as you to figure it out when I sit down. But we won't have a block next week because I'm on training out of town, and I don't want the block to release because the first 1 or 2 weeks the new blocks come up, there's a lot going on. People ask a lot of questions who are new to it or just want information, and I won't be able to answer anything. So that gives you a week off. Plus, those of you who have not jumped in yet, this gives you plenty of time. I'm going to show you some other bundles you might like if those, so you haven't figured it out yet or don't know what you're doing with it. But please jump in. Please show it to your friends because we have so much fun, and they're really easy and really fun to do. Each week is a theme for Main Street. What I'm kind of concentrating on is a place on Main Street, 12 places since there's 12 blocks, and then so this week was a 5 and dime, and a 5 and dime, for those of you who aren't familiar with that term, it's like a local small hardware department store. They're places where you could get lawn stuff, hardware stuff, some clothing, maybe a craft section, and then they usually had like a lunch counter. Then not like a deli, a lunch counter where there was a long counter with a soda fountain behind it and you could order food, sometimes maybe not a whole lot of food. Then there were usually little dinette, like you sit and eat. So that often was in your 5 and dime. And they would be on Main Street. Now, Woolworths is a really big name here in the US. When I lived in Germany, we had a place just like this, right downtown. I was in Wiesbaden, and this was in the next little town over where we lived. And there was what I would call a 5 and dime. It's like a little department store. You could go down. I got crafts there. Okay, so let's look at some other options for what you might use if you have not picked fabric yet, or if you're crazy like me and you want to make 2 quilts this summer, because why not? They're easy blocks. So this is Nova, and I will, let me just scoot in here. So there we go. We can take a look at it because Nova has really similar colorations to everything else. It is, let's see, it's got these blues. So just like the other lines, it has a blue, and they're a little bit more muted, so you can see a lot of scale. This is a multi-print, and then like almost a pure solid. Then there's a pinky burgundy. So this line Nova has it from, I like that one. This is called Grunge. It's Moda's Basic Gray. Nova's from Basic Gray. And then here's some other prints. So there's that big floral. So it's got all kinds of scale in this one, down into pinky things and really light pink. After that, you also have green, which my country store has green. So there's a green line. Oh, same shades, really, really nice scale. I like this because it's real tonal. Also has a little bit of yellow in it, which I have some yellow in the other lines. And then this one actually has aqua. Now, there really is, I'm not using aqua with the other lines, but you could pop in some of them maybe, or just save this part for later. And I think you can actually order just a groupings of some of these. So I'll link you up. Everything I talk about, I will link to. But here would be, if you just use from the Fat Quarter Bundle, just these sections, you would get the same feel. And if you need to watch my video from last time where I tell you how I sort of take from my stash and add what I want. So there would be one. That would be Nova, and I'll link you to that. And then the other one that I saw, which is totally different, is Hometown America, Hometown Americana. And this is red, white, and blue, but it's very soft and muted. So you can just see it perfectly here with the sort of cranberry, navy, and an off-white. So they are not true bright red, white, and blue. They're really soft and cozy. And then there's things like some stars. I mean, I think Hometown America would be awesome in this. They also have a few pieces of like the steel gray and a little bit of pink. And then there's actually this brown too. And it's just neat. It's a great colorway. I mean, great colors. Gives a different feel than the blocks that I'm doing. But then again, I think Cheeky and the country store are very different. So, and then there's more. There's other prints. And then there's a nice floral in there too. So that is those two. And I will put a link up so that if you feel like, you know, you haven't joined in yet, you still have tons of time, because next week we won't be having a new block, and then it'll start up again and it'll go right through the rest of the 11 blocks and the layout. So I have the layout. It'll come sometime during, within a couple of weeks, but I need to get focused and find the time to write that pattern, because it has to be checked a little bit more than, the patterns for just a single block. So the layout has to be, but I'll put the layout early. I always put the layouts early. That way you can actually working on the layout while you are, sewing the blocks. I always think that's more effective. I mean, I personally don't want to get to the end and then have to do the layout. To me, I want to know the layout and get it going even on a mystery like this. So that's what I do. I always give you the layout early. Yay! So now there was a question that I got, and I want to sort of talk about that. Or it's not a question. Somebody made a comment. It was a really nice comment that they were like, yay! They were all excited about half square triangles now. HST is how we abbreviate in quilt language, half square triangle. But they're getting it. And I thought, fabulous, because they're not hard. People think half square triangle. What is a half square triangle? This is what it looks like. You end up with a square that's made of two triangles. That is a half square triangle. And for some reason, people think these are hard. I don't know why you think they're hard. I can't even imagine making quilts without one. They give you so much dynamic movement, and you cannot make stars and other things. I just think they're great. They're less waste than sew and flip. I know a lot of people like sew and flip to create units, but they create more waste. Okay, so my book, if you don't have this one, the triangle book, I'll link you up to it. This gives you all kinds of information on triangles that you really can use as a reference. But I'm going to show you here. Let's see. Come down here, and I am going to show you let's see, pull in here. What I'm talking about here's what I'm talking about. How it can be so easy. Half square triangles are not hard. So I'm not going to tell you how to make a half square triangle. I've got directions for that, and maybe another time I'll do a whole video on half square triangles. Down the road I'll do videos of these things, but right now I'm just doing fireside chats because I have so much other projects going on. But eventually it's on my list. It's on my list. So when you want to sew these together, we're going to sew them this way. Okay, so there's two things here I want to tell you. First, when you're sewing them this way, if you press the seams so that one side goes towards the black and the other side goes towards the red, okay? So that'll help you, because then you can do what's called nesting. When you put them on top of each other, they can nest. So they basically, they're basically meeting. I know the plaid makes it crazy, but I already had these made, so I just used them. So hopefully you can see that. They actually will nest one against the other. So if I was at the sewing machine, here's the pointy end, right? I don't want to sew, so if I'm going to sew, I don't want to stick that end with all this bulk into the machine to sew these together. Whenever possible, I want to take the end that has no seam, just the two red ends, and sew from here to up to the corner. That's what I'll do. That's the first tip. Okay, so the second tip now is we have this unit made. So get even closer. So we have this unit made, and there's a couple ways to address. You could press this. You could press this to one side. You could press it to the other side. It really doesn't matter, because each time you can see. Let me see if I can get even closer. You can see where the junction is. Right here is the junction point. But you could also press this open. You can press it open. There's no reason not to press it open. And then you can see the junction point is right there, where the red and the black meet. I hope you can see this well enough. So if I want to press it open, I have another sample here then. Let's pretend that, well, not pretend, I'm going to finger press it. So that's pressed open. That means that when I'm sewing my 1/4 inch seam across here and going across, I'm going to come across, and I want to sew right at that point where that junction is, and then across. That's where the mystery is. If you sew past it, like down here in the red, you will cut off your point. So you're going to cut off that point, and it would look like that. you know, it would be cut off, and that's not what you're going for, you know. So you're going for hitting that point, so that basically you can just mimic it by folding it under, and that's what you would be getting. So let me show you on here. All right, so I just had this scrap, and I sewed the seam of the half square triangles to this background piece, and I sewed it right through that point, so that when I flip it over and I would press it, the point is not chopped off, because I did not go past that junction. If I had sewn down here, down below, like if I had gone on this side, what could you see? You can't see anything. People will do that. They'll put this on the top instead of the patchwork that you can actually see, and then you don't know where you are, and you don't sew accurate, you know, through the point. So it's all about sewing through the point. Here's one other example I want to show you. It's on I have this orphan block here, and sometimes when you are getting so here's a half square triangle unit, and here's a half square triangle unit, and when I was pressing this block, this one has the full seam covering where that junction is. This one you can see the junction. Does that make sense? So here I can't see the junction, which means if I am going to be sewing the seam across, when I come to that junction, I don't know where it is. I can't see it. So it would actually be better for me, and I do this, and I don't care what the, you know, what the seam looks like on the back. I want to fold it over. Now this fabric print has a lot of pattern, so it's hard to see, but that junction is right there where the aqua is. That's where I want to hit it. Let me see if you can tell it. No, that one doesn't have it. There's a word print on here, so the red is kind of messy to see, but I'm hitting it right, see where the needle is? That's the junction. When I sew across, I want to hit there, and then I want to sew across, and I want to hit, whoops, let me do that again. I'll sew across, and I want to hit this junction, and then sew across and go through that junction. And then that way, when I turn it over, neither of those points will be chopped off. My seam will be right exactly where I want it to be. So that is how you look at sewing seams on half square triangles. It's not sort of a mystery thing that's, you know, like, you know, if you're sewing with this, with, you know, half square triangles on this side, and you're sewing on this side facing you, you can't ever see what you're doing, and then you often will chop off that point. So there's a lot of things you can do, like manipulate. Let's say you weren't exactly a 1/4 inch from the edge. Well, you can shift down. You just need to know what you're doing. It's all about knowing what you're doing rather than just sort of mindlessly zooming the fabric through the machine. And if you don't really care if your points are chopped off, that's totally fine too. There's no reason that you have to worry about it, but a lot of people want to be more accurate and have those points show. So that is a little tip from me on how to do that. Okay, let me see. I wanted to show you a couple other things. So this I just got piles of stuff over here on my office assistant. So what are you doing when we're doing this talk? Are you listening? Are you sewing? I'm always curious. What are you doing? I guess you're listening some, right? Maybe you're sitting with earplugs in so you can just listen while you're doing something else. That's amazing. I just love doing that for different things. So coming up, another thing, this is exciting because it is so gorgeous. I've got the little one here. Olfa is coming out with new True Blue, their new color, this absolutely stunning deep navy blue mat, and I actually have one down here underneath my other mat. You can sort of see the edge. Plus they have two, I only grabbed the one, but they have two blue rotary cutters, and I just think they're beautiful. This is the one that's got the ergonomic handle. So these will be out, not yet, soon. I don't know whether it's in September, I don't know. No, it's not that. It's not that late. That's my fabric. Bonnie Lane is out in September, but those I think. Well, when they come out, I'll let you know. It's sometime this summer they're coming out. Okay. The other thing I wanted to show you is I got a present. I got a present from one of the ladies that I interviewed, and I wanted to show you her books because if you didn't listen to the interview with Teresa Duray Wong. This is one of her books, American Cotton, and we talked about what she did to, she has this whole book is full of gorgeous quilts, and she talks about the process of cotton being made, where it's made. She went out. Apparently, most of a large percentage of cotton is actually made and grown in Texas, and so she lives in Texas. There is some cotton, but she wrote this great book on there, look at this, the tractor and then the tractor quilt, and she interviewed all kinds of people. I just think she is amazing. She is a really good writer, and she's written quite a few books. I'm trying to find a picture of her. Oh, here she is. There's Teresa. And she also has written some books on Japanese quilts. So this is one of them. She loves Japanese fabric, and she went to Japan and interviewed people and just, did these just totally amazing books. Well, she sent me this clutch she covered the clutch with her own stash of Japanese fabric. Look at this. And if you know me, I love novelty prints. Isn't this amazing? Her company is called Third Story Workshop, and I will link you up to it. Look at this. And then she put blue polka dots. She knows me. Polka dots. Teresa is talented and has a wonderful writing style. And if you love knowing the stories behind things, you will love her books. I mean, the American Cotton is fabulous, as well as the books on the Japanese quilt makers and their process. And she told me how she went to Japan to interview them and had an interpreter and went all over the country. It just so exciting to meet somebody who has such a great passion and is such a great communicator when they storyteller when they write. Okay. I just wanted to show you that because she just sent that this week, and her interview was on the other week. I'll link you to it. Okay, so the other thing I finished was, and I cannot open it up here, but I will be doing a post about the, this is the Something Blue, the Fig Tree book. I did today, I was out and did both. There's the red and green. So I went out and did photos of both the quilts. They're big, and they're almost done. I still am going to put a small border on the blue one, a little bit bigger because it's a little bit narrow. I want to make it a little bit wider, so I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet and put another little bit wider border on there. That way, I'll find it a little bit more usable. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one. I'm thinking it might be a gift to somebody. I have somebody in my family getting married. Not a June wedding though. They're having a November wedding, but that might be for them. Now, I don't know, a while back I showed you that there was a lot of sew and flip when making the Christmas fake quilt, and so I made all of these I had these little half square triangles again that were left over from the sew and flip, and so I have a whole bunch of stars, a whole pile of them now. They're so cute. They're very tiny. These are like 1 inch. What do I got there? These are, they're 1 inch squares when they're sewn in the quilt. So this is a 4 inch finished star block. But I need to get, see what I got here. I've got this whole little collection of piles of these. And I need to count like how many I have and how many of these star blocks there's actually going to be, because then I can decide like do I want to make just like a little mini wall quilt, or do I want to do something and sprinkle these stars in there? That would be kind of cute. I don't know, but I have to figure out a plan. But I also want to show you for trimming these, because these were cut off. That means that I need to get them trimmed, and I wanted to show you what I trim with, just in case. I've shown you this on my video, my video. I've probably shown you on a video too, but I use this ruler, this Quilt in a Day ruler, and it's great for trimming these guys. Now this is, I don't have thread. Okay, maybe you can see that one good. White thread, yeah. So what I got is there's a line there, and I've shown you these pictures before, but I thought I'd just do it real quick so you could see. What it is I need a 1-inch finished. So I will put, oh, that's the 1.5. Yeah. No, I need the 1 inch, the 1.5. And then I will trim on both sides. So the line for 1.5 is on the seam, and then I cut on both sides like this, and then that creates the little half square triangle, and I would press it and use it. I think I cut that one too small. Oop, I did. I'm not doing 1.5. What am I doing? I'm doing 2. There we go. Never mind. This one I've already got, this got practically not much that needed trimmed off that guy. Whoops, sorry. Need to pull it down some. Let me do another one. Whee! No, this is right. I'm going nuts. Do you ever do that? Here it is. Here's a 1.5. That is 1.5. So I'm like, there's nothing big to trim off of that one. Yeah, so 1.5, which means it will finish at 1 inch. So these are the sizes. This was that bigger one I just hadn't trimmed yet. And then I will also, can you see here? I will also trim off these little dog ears. That's what these little triangles are. After I press it, there will be this little extra triangle piece there, and I don't want that. Okay, so these are, I want a finished 1 inch, but to work with it, it's a 1.5 inch square. So that's what I'm, whoops, sorry about that. There's the 1.5 inch square. So that is what I put on the line. Here, we'll do one more, because I'm a dork and I was doing it wrong. Okay, so it's 1.5 and trim, trim. There we go. I can't trim backwards and sitting down. Okay, so I've got that now. So I have some more here that are the right size for the block. And here's the block. So you can see, you know, see they're on there. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Okay. That's a lot of stuff. I've got, there's always lots of things going on. So this week, I won't be here, like I said earlier, so I will be off in training in St. Louis, but you will want to follow along on my Facebook, because I will share some photos and some videos. I'll do some short videos of the baby lock area, the facility, the training facility, and I'll, you know, show you people I'm there with. I'm so excited because a lot of my friends will be there also for training, so I get to catch up with them. Like Bev McCulloch of Flamingo Toes is going to be there, and I just saw her at the trade show, so I get to see her again. But we didn't get time to talk that much trade show, so this will be a lot more time. Now last week, because I'm going away, and if I pick a winner now from last week's, I can't mail it to you. So I thought I'm just going to leave that open. And I'm going to throw in some other little things, something else to it. So we'll leave this open, so you still have a chance to enter. So if you didn't enter yet from last week, I am going to give this away when I come back. So this is the new Bee in My Bonnet, Eat, Sleep, Stitch, Repeat, I call them knapsacks. So it's a project bag, and these go like this so that you can go to the quilt show or whatever. You can put it on your back. You can open the zipper and go hands-free, really. You could put your phone and your wallet in there and zip it up. That would be good. Or if you just want to keep your project stuff in there, they're really, really cute. From the Fat Quarter Shop, people at Fat Quarter Shop, Kimberly gave this to me to give away. And then I also have this bundle of neutrals. So this will be going to somebody, all these kind of cute neutrals. We can always use those, and then I will find some other goodies and throw in here. But that way, we will use this again for this week. So leave a comment at my Fireside chat page at my website. That's the best place to leave it. I will link over to that. So I'm Pat Sloan. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe, and I will chat with you again next week, which might be very short because we, are gone and get home. So I'll do a very short one if nothing else. Okay, so I will check in. Okay, have a good week. See you online.